The hidden drill, the planet was silent. Its sky was red, its ground dry and cracked like broken glass. For centuries, no one had lived here. No cities, no farms, no voices. Only the wind moved, carrying dust across empty stone. Yet in the middle of this dead world stood something strange. A tall, rusted mining drill. It looked old, almost useless. Its metal body was covered with scratches and dents. The drill bit was stuck halfway into the ground as if frozen in time. Aliens who passed by this planet had seen it many times. They never cared. To them, it was only a forgotten human machine, left behind after the old wars. But one night, the drill made a sound. It was a deep hum, low and steady, like the heartbeat of something that should not be alive. The ground under it trembled slightly. A green light blinked on its side. No one had touched it. No one had repaired it. Still, it moved. Far above, in orbit, a small alien patrol ship noticed the change. The ship's scanners picked up the energy wave. At first, the crew laughed. "It is nothing," one said. "A broken tool waking by accident." But the hum grew stronger. Soon the signal was clear. It was not random. It was a message. Inside the ship, the alien captain frowned. He had studied humans long ago in his academy years. Everyone knew the humans were gone. They had been defeated, erased from the stars after their reckless war. And yet the signal came in their language, strange, sharp code patterns that only humans had used. The captain's hands shook. "Impossible," he whispered. Down on the planet, the mining drill shifted. Dust fell from its body. Its broken arm lifted just slightly, creaking like old bones. Then it stopped. Silent again. But the signal did not stop. It reached farther and farther into space, bouncing from satellite ruins and dead beacons, crossing the dark like a whisper that refused to fade. The aliens reported the event to their council. Soon the news spread across fleets and colonies. Some said it was only machine noise. Others warned it was dangerous. "Do not forget," said one elder, "humans never built simple machines. They built weapons even when they called them tools." The council ordered investigation. When the next alien ship landed on the planet, the crew walked slowly toward the drill. Its surface was cold, yet something about it felt wrong, as if it was watching. One soldier placed his hand on the metal. The moment he touched it, his visor filled with strange symbols. He tore off his helmet, gasping. The others shouted in panic, pulling him back. "What did you see?" they asked. The soldier's eyes were wide. "A face," he said. His voice shook. A human face. The others stared at him. Humans were myths now, spoken only in warnings to children. No one had seen one for hundreds of years. They were supposed to be gone forever. But the drill kept sending its signal, and more aliens began to fear. Some believed it was a ghost machine. Others thought it was bait, a trap left to confuse anyone who dared explore human ruins. But deep inside, everyone knew. Humans did not build without purpose. If the drill still lived, it meant something more. The soldier who saw the face grew sick. His skin turned pale, his voice filled with static when he spoke. Doctors tried to cure him, but his words made no sense. He kept repeating, "They are not gone. They are waiting." The council sent warnings across their empire. They told ships to stay away from the planet. But it was too late. Curious minds, greedy minds, and fearful minds all wanted to know the truth. Was this the last secret of humanity? Or was it the first step of their return? Night after night, the drill lit up with green pulses. The signals became sharper, stronger. They carried patterns, numbers, and codes. Alien scientists tried to decode them, but failed. Their machines overheated, their screens cracked with static. It was as if the drill was protecting its message from any alien eyes. And then one night the signal changed. It was no longer numbers. It was words. The aliens who monitored it froze when they read the transmission. It said only one line, "We are still here." The alien fleets shivered with fear. They looked at the broken, rusted drill with new eyes. It was not dead. It was not empty. It was something else, something waiting for the right time to awaken. No one could answer the question that spread across the stars. If this was only one mining drill, how many more were out there? The forgotten code. The alien council gathered in their great chamber, a hall built of silver stone and blue light. Thousands of years of history were written on its walls, wars, victories, and defeats. But tonight every eye was fixed on one thing, the signal from the mining drill. The council leader, an old and scarred figure, raised his hand. Silence fell across the chamber. "We believed humans were finished," he said. Yet this machine speaks in their tongue. Tell me, what does it mean? Alien scientists stepped forward, carrying tablets filled with strange symbols. The signal is not random, one explained. It is code. Human code. Old, yes, but too advanced for our systems to fully read. Each time we try to translate, our machines fail. The council members exchanged nervous looks. For centuries, their empire had grown stronger because humans had been destroyed. Without humans, no one stood against them. If humans returned, even in some hidden form, everything would change. One counselor spoke softly. Perhaps it is a trick. A ghost left in the machine. We should ignore it. But the elder leader shook his head. Humans did not waste energy on tricks. They built every tool with purpose. Far away in the Empire's largest research station, a group of alien code breakers worked day and night. They poured the mining drill signals into their computers, searching for answers. At first, it looked like nonsense. Long strings of numbers, letters, and repeating marks. But then one code breaker noticed a pattern. These are not random, she whispered. This is memory. She explained to her team, humans had hidden memories inside the machine. Not just programs, but thoughts, strategies, and knowledge. The drill was not only a tool, it was a library. When they tried to open one memory file, the computer screamed with static and shut down. Sparks flew. Screens turned black. The lab filled with smoke. The scientists coughed, frightened. One of them cried out, "It is defending itself." The code was alive. It rejected alien systems like a body rejects poison. No matter what they tried, the drill protected its secrets. In the council chamber, the news spread like fire. Some wanted to destroy the drill immediately. If we cannot control it, it is dangerous, said one general. Crush it into dust, but others argued. If this code contains human knowledge, it could give us power. Imagine if we could use their secrets. The debate grew fierce, voices shouting, claws slamming on stone. In the middle of the chaos, a quiet voice spoke. It was the same historian who had warned them earlier. His eyes were dark, filled with memory of the old wars. You do not understand humans, he said. They did not build machines only for mining. They built them as weapons, as teachers, as survivors. If this drill is alive with their code, then it is not simply a tool. It is a seed. And seeds grow. The chamber went silent. Everyone felt the weight of his words. Back on the planet, the mining drill pulsed again. Its lights grew brighter, flashing like a heartbeat. Beneath the surface, deep underground, something stirred. The drill's core was opening. Alien drones scanned the site and discovered tunnels stretching far below the ground. The tunnels were not natural. They were cut with human precision, sharp and clean, leading into the planet's crust. It was as if the drill had been hiding a network for centuries. Inside the tunnels were strange machines, long asleep but still whole. Some looked like storage pods, others looked like weapons. One alien commander watching the live feed whispered, "This is not a mining site. This is a fortress." Panic spread through the Empire. Citizens demanded answers. Soldiers prepared fleets. Scientists warned that if humans had hidden fortresses on dead worlds, then the galaxy was not safe. Meanwhile, the code grew louder. Across the Empire's network, strange glitches began to appear. Screens filled with human symbols. Security systems failed. Entire fleets went dark for seconds at a time. It was as if the drill was reaching through space, touching every machine it could find. And then it happened. One research station finally broke through a small part of the code. The scientists stared at the translation in disbelief. It was not a weapon, not a map. It was a message. The message was short. Do not touch what is ours. The council was shaken. They had expected arrogance, threats, or warnings of war. But this was something colder. Humans had not asked for peace or offered diplomacy. They had spoken as if they still owned the galaxy. The old historian closed his eyes. It is them. This is their voice. They are not gone. They are waiting. That night, the drill stopped sending signals. It went silent, its green light fading back into darkness. Many hoped it was over. But deep below the planet, in the hidden tunnels, the machines began to move. Their lights glowed faint blue, one after another, like stars being born underground. The forgotten code had awakened. And the Empire knew, whatever humans had left behind, it was not finished. The awakening. The planet looked the same from orbit, silent, broken, red under the weak sun. But below the surface, everything had changed. Alien drones hovered near the drill, scanning the tunnels it had revealed. Their lights cut through the dark, showing walls lined with strange metal veins. The metal was not alien, not natural. It was human-made, shining faintly as if alive. One drone moved closer to the largest tunnel. Its scanner beeped rapidly, detecting power sources deep underground. Before the drone could report, its feed turned to static. The screen in the command ship went black. Then a flash of blue light filled the tunnel and the drone was gone. The alien commander swore under his breath. The humans left defenses, he said, but the truth was worse. Inside the tunnels, machines older than any empire stirred. Their lights flickered, their joints cracked after centuries of silence. They were not giant weapons, not warships, but something stranger. Builders. Machines designed to dig, shape, and construct. Their arms moved slowly but with purpose. They were waking, as if answering a silent order buried in their memory. One builder dragged itself toward the surface. Its body was covered in dust and rust, but its sensors glowed with bright human symbols. As it reached the drill, it touched the base with its long arm. The ground shook, the drill lit up again. Its green pulses returned, faster, louder. The hum was no longer weak. It was strong, like a war drum. In orbit, the alien fleet panicked. "It is calling something," one officer shouted. On nearby planets, old satellites, dead for centuries, suddenly switched on. They rotated, pointing their antennas toward the drill. Energy waves traveled through the system like sparks on a chain. Something was spreading. The council was informed at once. Their screens showed maps of space lighting up with signals. Each beacon, each satellite, each forgotten machine was answering the drill. "This is not a fortress," one counselor whispered in fear. "It is a network." Meanwhile, the historian who had warned them sat in silence. His face was pale. "No," he said at last. "This is a seed, and it is growing." The Empire's generals ordered immediate destruction. They sent heavy weapons to the planet, preparing to fire on the drill and collapse the tunnels. Warships aimed their cannons, but the moment they fired, their systems froze. The ships shook, lights flickering. Their targeting vanished. One by one, their engines shut down. It was not an explosion. It was not a counterattack. It was control. The drill had reached into their systems, bending them like toys. Panic spread. Pilots slammed their fists against dead controls. Captains shouted orders no one could follow. The entire fleet above the planet drifted helplessly, like broken shells in the sky. On the surface, the drill shifted again. Dust clouds rose as the ground cracked open wider. A massive door hidden under layers of rock began to rise. The aliens watching through their drones felt their hearts stop. The door revealed a chamber filled with human machines, rows upon rows of sleeping constructs. Some were small, like drones. Others were tall as towers, silent giants waiting to move. Their lights flickered on one by one, glowing blue in the dark. "They left an army here," a soldier whispered. But the historian shook his head. "Not an army. A message." This is how humans spoke, through fear. Inside the chamber, one machine turned its head. Its sensors locked onto the alien drone. A human voice echoed, distorted but clear. "We warned you." The drone's feed went black. Across the Empire, news spread. Worlds buzzed with fear. If one drill could awaken this much, how many others were hidden across the stars? How many machines slept beneath forgotten soil, waiting for the right time to rise? The council met again, but this time there was no debate. Their voices shook. Some called for retreat, others for war, but all agreed on one truth. They had underestimated humanity. The code was not just memory. The tunnels were not just storage. The drill was not just a machine. It was a seed of something larger, something that had been waiting in silence while the galaxy believed humans were gone. And now, it was awake. That night, strange signals reached even the farthest edge of the Empire. In places where no human ruins were known, machines began to stir. Mining drills, old satellites, forgotten stations, all flickered with life. Aliens everywhere looked at the sky and asked the same question. If humanity was truly dead, then who was waking their machines? The return. The Empire's fleets floated helpless above the red planet. Engines dead, weapons offline, their mighty ships were nothing more than silent shadows. Inside each vessel, alien crews trembled as they watched the drill glow brighter than ever. For centuries, humans had been a story told in fear. Parents whispered their name to scare children. Soldiers studied their tactics as warnings of what not to do. And yet here, in the cold of space, humans were no longer a story. They were a presence. The historian stood before the council once again. His voice was heavy, his eyes dark. "You see now," he said. "Humans never needed numbers. They planted seeds. They waited. And now their patience is ending." The council chamber shook with angry voices. "We must fight back," one general roared. "Burn every drill. Destroy every code." But others shook their heads. "We tried. The drills control our weapons. They control our fleets. How can we fight what already knows our moves before we make them?" The historian gave no answer. He only stared at the map of the stars where more and more signals were appearing. Each signal was another drill, another hidden fortress, another seed waking. On the red planet, the tunnels opened wider. The machines inside were no longer quiet. They marched slowly upward, their metal feet shaking the ground. Dust rose like storm clouds. Dozens, then hundreds of machines stood ready, their glowing blue eyes fixed on the sky. In orbit, one alien officer whispered what everyone feared. "This is not the end of a machine. This is the beginning of an army." Suddenly, the fleet's screens flickered. Static filled the air. Then, through the static, a voice spoke. It was not alien. It was human. "Do not fear. Do not run. Watch." The voice was calm, cold, and without emotion. It echoed in every ship, every station, every colony linked to the Empire's network. And then, for the first time in centuries, the aliens saw what they thought was impossible. A human face. It was not flesh. It was a digital ghost, built from the code inside the drill. But its eyes were sharp, alive. Its lips moved slowly as it spoke again. "You took our worlds. You erased our cities. You believed us gone. Yet here we stand in every stone you mined and every machine you ignored. We are humanity, and we are returning." The fleets froze in terror. Some officers fell to their knees. Others tried to shut down the transmission, but their systems refused. The face remained, staring at them, watching. Then the human voice spoke a final command. "Rise." On the planet, the drill erupted with light. The machines in the tunnels roared to life, their movements faster now, sharper. They assembled around the drill, forming shapes the aliens could not understand. Parts connected, arms locked, and soon the machines were no longer separate. They were building something greater, something massive that reached toward the sky. The aliens watched in horror as a tower of metal formed, glowing with human symbols. Energy pulsed through it, strong enough to shake the ships in orbit. One captain screamed, "They are building a gate." And he was right. The machines finished their work. The tower flashed, splitting the air with a ripple of blue energy. Space bent, the stars themselves twisted, and from the heart of the tower a dark opening spread wide like a wound in the sky. The first human ship came through. It was old, scarred, but alive. Its hull bore marks of battles fought long ago, yet its weapons gleamed with new power. More ships followed, 2, then 10, then an entire fleet. They emerged from the gate like shadows breaking free from chains. Aliens stared at their screens, unable to breathe. Humans had not been destroyed. They had been hidden, waiting beyond the stars, and the drills had been their anchors. In the council chamber, silence fell. The generals who had demanded war no longer spoke. The leaders who had demanded calm no longer breathed easy. All eyes turned to the historian. His voice was low, heavy with truth. The drills were never just machines. They were doors, and now the doors are open. Above the red planet, the human fleet spread its wings. Their ships moved in perfect formation, engines glowing like fire. No weapons fired, no battles began. The humans only hovered in silence, their presence more terrifying than any war. And then across the Empire, every screen showed the same words, written in the human tongue. "We are home." Humanity's shadow. The human fleet hovered above the red planet, silent and waiting. Their ships were old, yet their design was sharp, powerful, and alive. No alien dared to fire. No alien dared to move. It felt as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Inside alien fleets, soldiers whispered to each other in fear. "Why are they not attacking?" one asked. "What are they waiting for?" No one had an answer. The council demanded reports from every corner of the Empire, and the reports were worse than they imagined. On distant mining colonies, machines once thought broken were now awake. On forgotten moons, silent satellites blinked with human signals. Even deep in the Empire's core worlds, where no human ruins were believed to exist, strange glitches appeared. Doors refused to open. Weapons refused to fire. Voices whispered in human language through communication lines. It was not only the drills. It was everywhere. The historian stood in the chamber, his voice calm but heavy. This is humanity's shadow. While you believed them destroyed, they hid in the cracks of your empire, in the ruins you left untouched. In the machines you forgot to burn. They were never gone. They were only waiting. Alien leaders argued in desperation. Some called for negotiation, others for retreat, others for war. But deep inside, each of them knew the truth. There was no choice left. The humans had already returned. Above the red planet, the human fleet began to move. Their ships formed a vast circle, engines glowing like fire in the dark. The circle tightened, energy waves rippling from ship to ship, building something unseen but powerful. The aliens scanned the formation, terrified. What are they doing? A commander shouted. No one could understand it. Their scanners broke down, their readings turned to static. All they could see was light building between the human ships, a light that grew brighter and brighter until it filled the sky. Then, the voice came again. Calm, cold, human. You thought the war ended. You thought we were erased. But humanity does not end. Humanity waits. Humanity remembers. The light spread across space. Alien fleets covered their eyes, blinded. And when the light faded, something vast and terrifying stood in the stars. It was not a weapon. It was not even a ship. It was something greater. An image formed from pure energy. A shape that stretched across the sky. A human silhouette. It looked down on the fleets, its glowing eyes burning like suns. It was not flesh, not real, but it was enough to make every alien tremble. For the first time, the Empire saw not machines, not ships, but the shadow of the species they had tried to erase. Some aliens fell to their knees, whispering prayers. Others screamed in terror. None could fight. The voice spoke once more, echoing across every world, every colony, every fleet. You will not forget us again. And then the shadow vanished. The human ships did not attack. They did not fire a single weapon. Instead, they drifted back toward the gate, one by one disappearing into the blue light. The circle broke apart. The tower on the red planet dimmed, its glow fading into silence. The drill returned to stillness as if nothing had ever happened, but the Empire knew the truth. Humanity had returned, not with armies, not with destruction, but with a shadow. A reminder, a warning. From that day on, no alien slept easily. Every broken machine, every dead satellite, every forgotten ruin became a source of fear. Because no one could answer the question that haunted them all. If humanity could return once, how many times would they rise again? The historian said it best, his words recorded in the council archives. They did not come to destroy us today. They came to remind us. Humanity is not a flame that burns and dies. Humanity is a shadow that waits, and shadows are eternal.